Have you ever noticed something curious about people who genuinely love being at home? In a world that constantly praises busy schedules, social calendars, and endless activity, there are individuals who feel most content in the quiet comfort of their own space. They're not bored, they're not lonely. In fact, they're often completely at peace. While others may feel restless staying indoors, these people experience something very different: calm, clarity, and emotional balance. And psychology suggests that this preference isn't random. It's deeply connected to how their brain processes stimulation, emotions, and mental energy. Most conversations about weekends reveal this difference clearly. Someone asks, "So, what are you doing this weekend?" Many people respond with a list of plans: meeting friends, going out, traveling somewhere, attending events. But then someone quietly says, "Honestly, I'm just staying home." And they say it with genuine satisfaction. For them, home isn't a place of boredom, it's a place of recovery. Psychologists often talk about something called an optimal stimulation level. This simply means that every brain has its own comfort zone for how much activity and excitement it enjoys. Some people feel energized by noise, crowds, and constant interaction. Their minds thrive on novelty and external stimulation. But others are wired differently. Their nervous systems prefer quieter environments. Too many conversations, unpredictable social situations, and constant noise can quickly drain their mental energy. For these individuals, staying home isn't avoidance, it's regulation. It's their brain returning to an environment where it can function smoothly. This also connects to how the brain experiences dopamine, the chemical often associated with reward and motivation. People who crave excitement tend to get strong dopamine boosts from external experiences, crowded places, social events, new environments. But people who enjoy staying home often receive that same reward from quieter activities: reading a thoughtful book, watching a meaningful film, learning something new, rearranging their space, working on a personal project. From the outside, these activities may seem simple, but inside the brain, they produce a steady and satisfying sense of engagement. Now, here's something interesting. Have you ever met someone who enjoyed a social event, but still felt relieved the moment they returned home? They might have laughed, talked, and genuinely had fun, yet when the door closes behind them, there's an immediate sense of relief. That reaction isn't rudeness, it's cognitive recovery. Social interaction actually requires a surprising amount of mental effort. Your brain constantly analyzes facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, and social expectations. It predicts reactions, it manages impressions, it regulates emotions. All of this happens automatically, but it consumes a lot of mental energy. For people who prefer quieter spaces, that mental cost is simply higher, and home becomes the place where that mental weight finally lifts. But there's another psychological layer to this. Home is one of the few environments in life where you have almost complete control. You control the lighting, the sounds, the pace of the day, the objects surrounding you. And when the brain experiences a predictable, safe environment, something important happens. The part of the brain responsible for stress detection, the amygdala, becomes less active. This signals safety. And when the brain feels safe, it shifts into a relaxed state where reflection, creativity, and deeper thinking become easier. This is why many people who enjoy staying home are also naturally introspective. They reflect, they observe patterns in behavior, they think deeply about ideas. Their mind isn't constantly reacting to the outside world, it's exploring the inner one. But society sometimes misunderstands this preference. People who are constantly out are often labeled adventurous and energetic. Those who stay home more frequently may be called shy, antisocial, or unmotivated. Yet psychological research paints a very different picture. People who are comfortable with solitude often have strong internal emotional regulation. They don't depend entirely on external activity to feel stable or fulfilled. Their sense of balance comes from within. This doesn't mean they dislike people. It simply means they're selective with their social energy. And because of that, they often form fewer but deeper relationships. Which leads to an interesting question.
When you choose to stay home, are you avoiding the world, or are you simply following a rhythm that suits your mind better? Human beings recharge in different ways. Some regain energy in crowds and excitement. Others recover in silence and stillness. Neither approach is better. They're simply different forms of balance. And over time, something fascinating often happens to people who spend more time in quiet environments. They become comfortable with their own thoughts. They learn to appreciate silence. They become careful observers of human behavior. Because when the world becomes quieter, the mind becomes louder. Ideas begin to surface. Patterns become clearer. Emotions become easier to understand. Perhaps that's why throughout history, many writers, thinkers, and creators preferred peaceful environments. Not because they rejected the world, but because distance from constant noise helped them understand it better. So maybe loving home isn't really about staying inside. Maybe it's about giving the mind a place to reset, a place where thoughts organize themselves, a place where clarity returns. In a culture that celebrates constant movement, choosing stillness can seem unusual, but psychologically, it's simply another way the human mind maintains balance. Some people find clarity in motion, others find clarity in quiet. And sometimes, staying home isn't about escaping life, it's about understanding it more deeply.